I tell you, I've got computers here, and I don't know what's going on with them. But anyway, all right, Tri-City Sports Now. Let's get this so you can see my handsome face right now coming up. I want to discuss with you here two things. First, before we get to cheering in the press box, which is journalistic sacrilege, by the way. And I almost feel like I have to tell you this because I think that everybody in the Tennessee media are such homers, and I'm kind of seeing this now, the way that, Carl Torbush, never mention the 11-22 record. Mention him as he built the foundation and all that. Is it a foundation where you win 1 out of every 3 games? This is what you've got to worry about as an ETSU fan. It's the elephant in the room. And for that matter, if it's that great, then it works out that you are doing yourself a disservice by not going at that point and hiring one of his assistants to replace him. It just looks bad if you go that route and you don't do it. I don't think they will. Anyway, before we get to cheering in the press box, I wanted to say there was a disturbing story that came out from the NFL Network. And there's obviously these days sexual harassment being talked about all the time in the workplace, what is appropriate, what isn't. I used the word darling to address a woman, and I was almost like, I have to take that back. And I think that's very disturbing when we are in that circumstance. I really do. However, Marshall Faulk, Keith Evans, and Ike Taylor were all suspended by the NFL Network after sexual harassment claims. There was a makeup artist who was an attractive woman, but she was also a middle-aged woman. I, was a little bit surprised that they were kind of, going after her. And anyway, she worked behind the scenes. Let's see here. And her name was Jamie Cantor at the NFL Network. Jamie, she had been fired earlier, and she was alleged to have stolen property and all this. She was a wardrobe stylist is what she did, okay? But some of the allegations made in this suit are, for me, really, really disturbing. Here's the thing with the sexual harassment era. I think that men are afraid, literally, to ask women out. I think it's gotten to that point. However, what Faulk is alleged to have done goes a little bit beyond that. Faulk would ask her deeply personal and invasive questions about her sex life, such as her favorite sex position, whether she liked oral sex, and whether she dated black men. She would also, it is alleged, be greeted by Faulk fondling her breasts and groping her behind. Yeah, that's not exactly the same as, excuse me, ma'am, would you like to go out for coffee? Masher! Now, hold on. Warren Sapp has actually unabashedly, how could I put this, urinated in front of her. Now, Evans, who he spoke of before, Heath Evans, also supposedly made claims, and I kind of laid it out right there of what it is. Jamie Cantor also, there are really some disturbing things. She would actually get sex toys for Christmas presents from, it's alleged, from the people in the NFL, co-workers in the NFL Network. Ugh. Earlier, Donna McNabb had been suspended with sexual harassment. So it sounds like the NFL Network is being accused of being not all that friendly to work at. My case in point is this. I do look at this circumstance. Look, I'm a guy, I won't go into really details, but I do think in this age of sexual harassment, there is some claims and there is an almost openness to just make the claim, and as long as you're accused, you're guilty. I once was fired from a delivery job because I said a woman at the office I delivered a package or whatever it was to was wearing nice shoes. I'm absolutely serious about that. I listened to, and no matter whether you like Donald Trump or you don't like Donald Trump, I was disturbed that Megyn Kelly over the weekend. They were talking about potential sexual harassment from the president. Well, what did the president do to you years ago, ma'am? He asked me for my phone number and it made me feel uncomfortable. That's not sexual harassment. I'm sorry, that is not sexual harassment. However, yeah, some of the things, touching a woman's breasts, I mean, come on. Sending sex toys in the mail as Christmas presents, that's bad. That's real bad. I've got just a little bit of time to continue a media watch, kind of a long one, but this one was appalling. Las Vegas Golden Knights beat the Predators 4-3 overtime Friday night. But a Las Vegas official accused Nashville reporters of cheering in the press box after a Predators goal. Now, it was done on Twitter. The tweet was deleted. However, I do think that there is something to be said here, and I think it is kind of telling about Nashville, or really Tennessee media a lot of times. I do think that there have been, and I use the Torbush situation. I've talked about, guys coming on, this John Bryce coming on here about a week ago when Phil Fulmer was named the AD. I guess it was almost 2 weeks ago, and always referencing him as the Hall of Fame coach Phil Fulmer. Well, why do you think he's going to be able to make a good hire as a football coach? Because he's the Hall of Fame coach Phil Fulmer. And I mentioned that after it had been reported by other outlets that Fulmer was, charged of sabotaging John Curry, which has been something he's done in the past. Look how he got the job as head coach in the first place instead of John Majors. It was Bryce who was right there to write the nothing to see here piece. Oh no, he didn't do that. The Hall of Fame coach Phil Fulmer is just wonderful. That's shilling. That's homerism. That's not objectivity. That's not the truth, and you should demand more from your journalism. Look, I will just say this, though. There is no room for cheering in the press box. In fact, at West Virginia, they even make an announcement: cheering is not allowed in our press box. Consider that. Tri-City Sports Now will continue. What football games will you see this Sunday on TV? Tri-City Sports Now comes back with that.